Hey folks, Logan Insco here, and welcome back to my channel. And in today's video, we are going to be answering another Michael Jackson question. And that question is, when I mention Elvis at school, they say how he died, and I already answered that question. But whenever I bring up Michael Jackson at school, they say he abused some children. Well, I'm going to be answering that question to tell you if it's true or is it not true. So, basically, if you didn't see a video that I made not too long ago, actually, I talked about the tragic childhood of Michael Jackson, and he was unhappy as a child that he couldn't, go to school, he couldn't, go to the park. He couldn't, do any fun stuff that a normal child could do. And the reason why is because he had to go to the studio. He had to record with his brothers, Jermaine, Jackie, Tito, and Marlon. And so when Michael Jackson bought his own home, which he called Neverland Ranch, which was based on his favorite movie, Peter Pan, he wanted it to be like a house of his dreams, that he could have all the stuff that he couldn't have as a child. And the house had its very own movie theater, a zoo with animals such as elephants, tigers, and lions, and it even had its own amusement park with a slide, Ferris wheel, roller coaster, all that stuff. And he would invite some other kids to his house just so they could have fun, with the zoo, the amusement park, and the theater. Although, Michael asked some kids if they could stay over, and and they asked, "Can I stay over?" And he says, "Well, if it's okay with your parents," and they said, "Yeah." And Michael let the kids sleep in the guest room, so Michael went to his own room. But every time a kid stays at Michael's house, they never want to sleep in the guest room. They always want to stay with him. They never want to sleep in the guest room. And one time, Michael was taking care of this kid named Gavin that had cancer, and he came in the room, and he said, "Michael, you should sleep on the bed." And he was like, "No, no, no, you sleep on the bed." And he was like, "No, no, no, Michael, you should sleep on the bed." But Michael told Gavin, "If you love me, you can sleep at the bed." And he was like, "Oh man." And so Gavin finally slept on the bed. Michael had to sleep on the floor. He had a bunch of blankets and stuff like that. And a lot of people are saying, is that really appropriate for a 44-year-old man to share a bedroom with a child that's not related to him at all? And what Michael said, he thought it was a beautiful thing to do um because he says the most wonderful thing in the world is to share your bed with someone. He was like, you you can have my bed, sleep in it, I'll sleep on the floor. However, in 1993, Michael became good friends with a child named Jordan Chandler, and they shared a room and a bed, although Jordan accused Michael of abuse. And then Jordan's parents got aware, and they got mad, and they were not allowing Michael to see Jordan anymore. And then Michael was like, if he can't hang out with other people's children, he could have some of his own. Well, his first wife was daughter of Elvis Presley, Lisa Marie Presley, and they've actually known each other for a long time. They first met when Michael was 17 and Lisa was only 7. And like Michael said in that interview, go to my channel and you will see Michael Jackson and Lisa Marie talk about their relationships. And in that interview, Michael says that back then the only family band on the Strip was the Jackson 5. and that Lisa would come to see his shows all the time. She came quite often. She came with a lot of bodyguards. And Lisa would go backstage to say hi to Michael. And Michael thought she was sweet and loving, and he always hoped he'd see her again. Until when he got older, he told one of his lawyers, "Do you know Lisa Marie Presley?" And they said, "Well, I represent her mother." And he was like, "I'll try to do the best I can." And Michael said, "What did you find out?" And she was like, "Not much," until Michael saw on a magazine cover that Lisa Marie is married. And guess what? That really tore him to pieces. He was so devastated after hearing that news. And so, Michael finally talked to Lisa, and they started dating, and they went everywhere together. They went to bookstores, and, one time, Michael, on the telephone, said to Lisa, "What would you do if I asked you to marry me?" And Lisa said, "I would." And so they had a private ceremony, and they got married in the Dominican Republic. And they weren't hiding it until they announced it on stage. And Michael kissed Lisa Marie on stage, and Lisa said, "I didn't like it. I felt uncomfortable." Yeah, but Michael was keep asking Lisa, "Can we have children? Can we have children?" But Lisa wasn't ready yet. She wasn't ready. And but also Michael enjoyed the company of other people's children until one time Lisa found out that Michael's going on a vacation with 2 kids. And then Lisa had enough. And so she left Michael. And then Michael got divorced. And then he decided to marry his friend, but now no longer just friend, Debbie Rowe. Michael was telling Debbie all the time that, "I want to be a dad," and Debbie said, "Go for it, be a dad." And you see, the reason why they got married was because she knew that Michael Jackson loves children, and she knew that Michael Jackson wanted children, and she gave that to him as a present. And so Debbie had her first child, and she told Michael to take the baby, and she was like, "I'm totally fine with it." Michael said, "Are you sure you're fine with it?" And she said, "Yes, of course." And so Michael took his 2 new babies, Prince and Paris, and then Michael was actually joined with a new son. His name was Prince Michael II, but he called him Blanket, because what he means, it's an expression he uses with his family. He says, "You should blanket me," or "You should blanket her." He said that blanket is a blessing. And but a question many people have wondered, who's Blanket's mother? Well, Blanket's mother till this day is still unknown. And the reason why she's unknown is because Michael and her signed an agreement saying that she doesn't want to be in papers because she doesn't want to be in like news articles because she knows how scum bag their comments can be. Go and say hi.
So I'm talking about my boy Michael Jackson.
Yeah, and then until in 2003, Michael was interviewed by this guy named Martin Bashir, and he wanted to know everything about Michael's career from A to Z. And then he told Michael about the allegations and the children, and he found out that kids were still sleeping at Neverland. And Martin found it as an obsession with children. And so later, again, Michael was accused by the abuse of several other kids, and then he was officially declared innocent. And yeah, and so that's Michael's relationship with his children, his wives, and Colin closed out with a kick bump.
Kick bump, but Logan, remember yesterday?
Yeah, close out with a kick bump.
Okay, kick bump!